Tonight, live at 5, UGA students react to the arrest in connection with an alleged terrorist threat. Then, a new shopping center sparks controversy in Oconee County. And later, a local club builds ramps for those in need. All of that and more right here on Grady Newsource.
This is Northeast Georgia's only local source for TV news. From the Grady College at the University of Georgia, this is Grady Newsource.
Good evening and welcome to Grady Newsource. I'm Justin Nemitz. We begin with the investigation of threats that led to the arrest of a UGA student. Madison Hardwell has the latest on this investigation and some student reactions.
At around 10 p.m. on October 1st, the UGA Police Department received a phone call from the Georgia Bureau of Investigation informing the school about these terroristic threats posted on Yik Yak earlier in the day. Yik Yak is an anonymous social media platform that allows users to connect with others on the platform within a 5-mile radius. UGA student Anna Stevens believes anonymity on this platform makes it difficult to understand and prevent threatening posts.
I feel like Yik Yak's really hard to pinpoint who and what's real and what's funny and what's not.
Acting in a matter of hours after the GBI phone call, the UGA Police Department arrested and transported the suspect to Athens Clark County Jail. After the accused was taken into custody, students and faculty at UGA received this concerning email.
I didn't know about it at all, and then when the email got sent out, I was like, whoa, this is crazy. Like, that's the person that was making these threats was lives in the same building I live in.
We will continue to monitor the situation. The Athens Clark County Police Department is currently investigating a deadly shooting that happened yesterday afternoon on Fairview Street. Police say the victim was a 52-year-old male. If anyone has any additional information, they are encouraged to contact the number below. Ian plowed through southwest Florida this week, leaving a trail of destruction in its wake. For more on the storm's status, I have weather reporter here, Harper Blankenship.
You know, that's right here, Justin. Now, unfortunately, Floridians are still sifting through the wreckage as we speak. Georgians may have been spared the worst of the storm, but we're still eager to help their southern neighbors. The Jackson Electric Membership Corporation sent 56 of its own contractors to help restore power in Orlando. Meanwhile, Florida Governor Ron DeSantis says that while 840,000 people are still currently without power, the good news is utility companies like Jackson EMS have already raced to turn the lights on for 1.8 million residents. Justin?
Harper, thank you for that update. The zoning of a shopping center is causing a lot of backlash from the community. Grady Newsource reporter Gabrielle Vitale tells us how this could affect residents.
Off Hog Mountain Road and US 78, a new shopping center called Shops of Oconee Crossing is being planned. Oconee County resident Thomas Moore says the community likes having a small town feel.
The main concern for the people who are immediately near the shopping center is the noise and the lack of peace and the destruction of their literal backyard.
The shopping center will be neighboring the Oconee Crossing subdivision and Striplin's general store.
We believe that this location is not like an Epps Bridge location. It's going to be more centered around the immediate needs of the North Oconee residents.
The development has two proposed zones. Proposed 2 zoning includes a grocery store, fast food restaurants, a car wash, and office and retail spaces. B1 zoning includes just retail and office space. Many residents like Moore are against the new shopping center with over 700 signatures on the petition against the rezoning. In response to this, the developer has made changes to the site plan, including relocating the grocery store.
Changed the nature of the remaining development to smaller scale, multiple buildings versus larger buildings. The attempt there is to try to create more of a destination and gathering place, which we think is the right thing to do in the market.
The developer is looking for approval of its rezone request by the Board of Commissioners.
Tomorrow, October 4th, the meeting for rezoning will be held here at Oconee County Courthouse. Reporting for Grady Newsource, I'm Gabrielle Vitale.
The 2022 Miss USA Pageant is tonight, and one of Georgia's own is in the running. 51 women from across the country have competed in preliminary competitions this past week. From those preliminaries, the top 16 will be announced tonight. UGA's 26-year-old Holly Haynes is one of those hopefuls. The pageant will be streamed at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Favorite pastimes, Newsource reporter Riley Roberts has the latest on the Atlanta Braves. Riley?
Thank you, Justin. So our Braves really did impress us last night. They came out with a 5-3 win and completely swept the series against the New York Mets. Both Olsen and Swanson homered in each of the 3 games. They did so on Jacob deGrom and Max Scherzer, arguably 2 of the best pitchers in the league. Sunday's 5-3 victory left many fans excited with the playoffs on the horizon and a world championship to defend. The Braves now hold the season series tiebreaker over the Mets. For now, Atlanta leads the NL East by 2 games and needs only 1 more win to clinch the division for the 5th straight season. They travel to Florida to take on the Miami Marlins tonight at 6:40 p.m. That's it for the Braves, and I'll be back with the rest of your sports update later in the show. Thank you, Justin.
Thanks for the update, Riley. The Athens Clarke County Police Department received 2 new electric cars as part of Project 20. The county's plan to replace existing government vehicles with electric vehicles. Grady Newsource reporter Michael Doty reports on how these cars are used now and the plans for the future.
As a part of the Athens Clarke County Sustainability Plan, the police department received some new means of transportation. 2 completely electric vehicles were delivered to the department Thursday morning, with more on the way in the near future.
They're moving towards hybrid and electric vehicles, so when budgets are made and things like that for purchase of vehicles, we got to fall in line with the unified government's plan and vision for sustainability.
The department received 2 Ford Mustang Mach-E's, and they are run completely on battery power. Now, Lieutenant Barnett said these cars are not used for patrol just yet. They're mainly used by officers who are in or around the office. But he said they could be used on patrol in the future once the battery life of these cars improve. One of the officers with an electric car is Captain John Radford.
It's a really nice car. It's a lot nicer than a lot of the other police cars I've been issued. I'm enjoying it. It's nice not burning any fuel when I have to drive around.
Although the cars are better for the future, there are issues surrounding them in the present.
We don't have any fast chargers or anything like that. So, plugging up to just a traditional wall plug, it takes a while for them to charge up.
The cars also aren't labeled or have blue lights and sirens like these police cars, but Radford says they are in the process of getting those installed. Reporting for Grady Newsource, this is Michael Doty.
When we come back, we will show you how Oconee County is contributing to environmental improvement efforts.
During high school, I hung with the wrong crowd and I never graduated.
I helped Santiago in many different ways, like all fathers do, because he always wanted to go to college.
I felt a little embarrassed to come back to school, but eventually, once I came here, I knew that it's for a bigger goal.
He was very dedicated, hardworking. He connected with his teachers, he connected with other students. That was one of the key reasons why he was able to keep forging ahead.
It was amazing to see him graduate. This was one thing that meant so much to him, and of course, it meant so much to us too.
With the help of my father and having my son, that was all the motivation that I needed. That support is everything.
Find free adult education classes near you at finishyourdiploma.org.
I think I finally found.
Hey, how you doing?
Hey, Mason.
Hey, Mason.
Got a new house. It's looking pretty cool so far. A place that I call home.
I'm teaching Louise how to cook some lasagna.
It only takes a spark to make a fire start.
Thank you.
Study, please.
I think I finally found a place to make my own. A place that I call home. This place that I call home.
Improper disposal of batteries and tires heavily contribute to environmental pollution. Grady Newsource reporter Donnie Traylor has more on how one local commission is working to fight this.
These small stacks of donated tires may soon look like this one. The Oconee County government and the Keep Oconee County Beautiful Commission are hosting a battery and tire amnesty for the month of October.
It's the opportunity for our residents to turn in any tires that they may have without paying fees. And so we do that at all 5 of our collection sites on all of the days that we are open during the month of October.
Pritchard says they try to host an amnesty once a year, but were sidetracked a little during the pandemic.
This is the 441 collection site, and normally it is the only place that residents can come to drop off their tires. And outside of the amnesty, they would have to pay $7 for off-rim tires and $10 for on-rim tires per tire. But that is not the case during the amnesty.
Residents can drop off car and boat batteries as well.
They come by and say, where can I drop off my tires or my batteries? And we usually have a pallet over there, or we have something of that nature, and it'll show up eventually, you know, and people will put their batteries on it. And I've had even people drop off one AA battery once. And so they're serious about it.
Tires and car and boat batteries are welcome for drop-off in 5 Oconee locations: Greensboro Highway, Mars Hill area / Jimmy Daniel Road, Hog Mountain Road, Rankin Road, and the 441 collection site. Who knows what these piles will look like as the month progresses. For Grady Newsource, Donnie Traylor.
Athens Clarke County riverways could use some tidying up. Grady Newsource reporter Aubrey Granzo has all the details you can get to get involved.
Residents in Georgia are banding together to spend time immersing themselves in nature while aiding in the effort to free areas of waste. In Athens Clarke County, hundreds of residents have gathered on this very site to help clean up our rivers and keep our county beautiful. The statewide waterway cleanup will continue throughout the month of October, reaching various communities.
Hopefully they will be picking up lots of debris and trash, and this is what we do every year, is to try and clean up our waterways.
With such a large group of volunteers already signed up, many residents are unable to lend the helping hand that they had wished to, such as the Hillsman Middle School Science, Energy, and Adventure team.
We're going to meet today with the one of the folks here to learn more about the design of the Nature Center building. And we're just, it's such a beautiful fall day. We're also going to go out on the trails and just absorb some nature and, you know, be grateful for all that we have here in Athens as far as environmental consciousness.
Just last year alone, 9,500 volunteers cleaned up nearly 346,000 pounds of trash out of just over 1,000 miles of Georgia waterways. To help clean up our waterways, Georgia residents can head over to riversalive.georgia.gov. For Grady Newsource, this is Aubrey Granzo.
Coming up, the deadline to register for the November 8th elections is just over a week away. We will show you how to register to vote in these upcoming elections.
People do some pretty cool things in their 40s and 50s. Why should saving for retirement be any different? I mean, they go back to college, learn new instruments, start skateboarding. Okay, maybe that one's not for everybody, but saving for retirement is. With aceyourretirement.org, you can get on track with your retirement savings no matter your age. Just have a 3-minute chat with Avo, the friendly digital retirement coach from AARP. You'll get personalized recommendations based on your input that are easy to understand and work with your lifestyle. It's quick, easy, and free. Plus, it's sponsored by AARP, so you know they got your back.
Woo-hoo! Gnarly move, Dad.
Thanks, sweetie. So wherever you are in your retirement savings journey, head to aceyourretirement.org and start chatting with Avo today. That's aceyourretirement.org.
If you need to do something to feel okay to drive, you're not okay to drive. Don't drive buzzed.
My Shiro doesn't always wear a cape, but she always has time for a hug, a smile, for going the extra mile. My Shiro stretches every dollar, puts in long hours, puts others first. But now it's your time, Mom. When you're ready to retire, we want you to be able to enjoy it. It's time to start saving now. A free 3-minute online chat can give you the personalized tips you need to start boosting your retirement savings today. Visit aceyourretirement.org.
There are many candidates Georgia residents can choose in the upcoming November 8th elections. Grady Newsource reporter Michael Doty joins us live outside Athens Clarke County Board of Elections office to tell us how to register to vote in this election.
Thanks, Justin. I'm standing outside the Athens Clarke County Board of Elections office, which is one of 4 different places where you could come in person to register to vote. The other 3 being the Mitch Schrader Motor Vehicles office, the Athens Regional Library, or the State Patrol office. Now, if you can't make it in person, you could either fill out the form online or download the PDF off the ACC Gov website and mail it in to the Secretary of State. Now, I spoke with Charlotte Sosaby, who is the director of the Board of Elections, and she explained how you fill the form out.
A legal name, address, a mailing address if it's different than the residential address, and then personal information includes like telephone number, gender, and race. But those things are not mandated. The gender and race is not mandated, but it complies with the Voter Rights Act of 1965. And then you have federal law requires a full driver's license number or a state-issued ID.
Now, Sosaby said it's best to do it either in person or online at this point with the fast deadline approaching. And she said it only takes approximately 2 minutes to fill the form out. If you have any further questions, you could contact the number for the Board of Elections on their website. And as a reminder, you only have 8 days left to register to vote in this upcoming election. So if you're interested, you better get on it now. Justin, back to you.
Thanks, Michael. I know that I still need to register as well, but 155 concerts are packed into one day of live music. Sounds crazy, right? Not in Athens. Grady Newsource reporter Wynn Andrews reports on how this historic event, Athens Porch Fest, celebrates a community's shared love for music.
You've heard about Saturday in Athens, but Sunday was just as eventful for those attending the historic Athens Porch Fest. Porch Fest showcases 155 local artists from the comfort of 150 houses. Starting at 1 in the afternoon and ending at 8 that night, residents drove, biked, and walked to these houses across 6 historic neighborhoods to listen to every genre of music imaginable. Porch Fest is a great opportunity for local artists to garner a following and sell their music to fans at the event. Playing on someone's porch is a plus for many artists who are friends with the homeowners beforehand.
Porch Fest is great. I mean, it's really fun to have a live audience, especially after a few years of not having live audiences. So anywhere we can play, but especially on our friend's porch, it's just such a casual environment, you know. Lots of friends out in the crowd and beautiful weather, so couldn't have asked for a better setting.
With a map of concert times and locations posted on the Visit Athens website, residents were able to track when and where each artist was performing throughout the day. People made their way through Normaltown, Cobham, and other districts as artists consistently played. Most, if not all, concerts in each neighborhood were within walking distance of one another. Created by the Athens Clarke Heritage Foundation, all proceeds from Porch Fest directly benefit the historic Athens nonprofit that works to preserve the community's heritage.
We saw families, we saw dogs, we saw everything in between, but this is really an opportunity for us to come together with our community and celebrate what makes Athens so special.
For Grady Newsource, I'm Wynn Andrews.
Some beautiful fall weather may be headed our way. Your weather forecast after the break.
Last week, Brandon met a girl on a dating app. One day after work, he finally found the courage to ask her out. No answer. He started to panic. Was he being too pushy? Maybe it was too
Sorry I didn't respond. I was driving. I would love to go on a date. How does tonight sound?
Brandon tried to play it cool, but inside he knew. A girl so smart, so responsible. She must be a keeper.
You know, a lot of people say, when you're going somewhere, you don't want to look back. But I beg to differ. For her to see her father celebrate his graduation, it's the best feeling in the world. I can't lie and say it was easy. But sometimes you just have to stop everything and take it in. I looked at everything in a different light. I realized it started with me going back and getting my high school diploma.
Jordan knows he shouldn't eat this entire bowl of nachos, but tonight he's earned that right. Because a few hours ago, in the middle of happy hour, he recognized a sign. Not from the gods or a bolt of lightning, but from a double heart, a kissy face, and a fourth ha in ha ha ha. That's when Jordan knew he was buzzed. So when it was time to go, he got a ride home instead of driving. Be a legend like Jordan. Recognize your buzzed warning signs and get a ride home. Buzz driving is drunk driving.
There is a road laid out for me.
First night here, but Amy seems cool.
Leading down to the river. I am blind, but I need not see.
What do you think?
I know this road is there for me. If I'm really free, take me down to the river and walk.
Now for the weather with Harper Blankenship. Harper, the first day of fall was September 22nd, but it sounds like some true fall weather is finally coming our way.
You know, that's right, Justin. Some beautiful southern fall weather is headed our way this week, but more of those crisp mornings are all coming towards us. Today was an amazing sunny day, and that's set to cool down into the low 50s tonight, so you may want to bust out your favorite sweater this evening. All of that wonderful, wonderful sunshine is going to be sticking with us throughout the week, as it's going to continually push up those temperatures throughout each day, so don't be surprised if you're shedding some layers around lunchtime. We'll be hovering around lows around 50 degrees and highs in the 70s to start out, but as we move throughout the week, things will start to heat up. Temps are set to peak at 84 degrees all the way on Friday, ahead of a classic autumn matchup with the Auburn Tigers this weekend. That's all for your Grady Newsource weather update, and now on to Riley Cavanaugh with your sports.
Thank you, Harper. Well, the Braves might have brought their cleaning supplies to sweep the nation. The Georgia Bulldogs are now Sorry for the difficulties, guys. Georgia Bulldogs did not do as great against Missouri, as they scored only 26 against Missouri's 22. The heavily favored Georgia Bulldogs did not do well in the first half, having 2 fumbles and resorting to kicking field goals. Defensive lineman Jalen Carter took a hit to the left knee early in the second quarter. This effectively removed him from the rest of the game. Some questions have arisen over the legality of the hit, especially when a social media post began circling showing Carter getting into a pregame disagreement with some of the Missouri defenders. Coach Smart said in a postgame press conference that he believes it is not an ACL injury. The Bulldogs went into the locker room at halftime trailing by 10 points and leaving many fans questioning what type of team would return. They once again proved themselves as a second-half defender, but it wasn't until 4 minutes remained on the board that the Dogs took their first lead of the game. They managed to hold out and squeeze by with a win of 26-22. Sometimes a win just doesn't feel like one. UGA student Walker Payton had this to say about the game.
I was very underwhelmed by how we played, but just the fact that it was a close game was fun. But we definitely should have beat them by a lot. Like, the spread was 3 touchdowns, so we were supposed to beat them by a lot more than 4 points.
Now looking at some of our local high school football. Madison County Red Raiders showed up the Chestatee Red Eagles 39-8. This upgrades their overall record 2-3 for the season. They face the North Hall Trojans on the road this Friday. Jackson County Panthers won 38-13 against the Habersham Central Raiders. Despite the game being moved up a day from the threat of Hurricane Ian, the school got to celebrate not only a win, but a spirited homecoming as well. In other UGA sports news, the Georgia volleyball team announced awards for 2 of their players earlier today. Casey Evans was awarded SEC Player of the Week, and Sophie Fisher was awarded SEC Defensive Player of the Week. That's it for your sports update. Back to you, Justin.
Seemed like a good sports weekend for Atlanta.
We scored? Yeah, we scored. We're going to the playoffs. I can't believe I missed that. Every time I'm buzzed, I spend too much time on my phone. What? I should take your phone away. No. I'll call for a ride. Hey, why does my face look like that? I'm playing with these new face filters. Okay, you know what? Yep, that's mine. I'm gonna need that back. No. Kevin!
Hello and welcome to our Solutions Journalism segment. In Madison County, a volunteer group created a solution for people with disabilities who struggle to do something as simple as leaving their house. Grady Newsource reporter Sarah Train tells us about a club that builds ramps for free.
If you spend enough time driving through Madison County, you'll see at least one or more of these wooden ramps attached to various homes. More than likely, these were built by a group of volunteers from the Madison County Rotary Club. Founded in 1995, the club started out as a food delivery service called Meals on Wheels and then developed into a much bigger idea.
Somebody that was delivering came up on this house that he was delivering meals to, and he watched the man crawl out of his truck and crawl into his house, and he had polio.
Edward Brown, the chairman of the ramp program, says they do it for 2 reasons. First, to help people of old age in the county that need help getting in and out of their homes.
The other thing is, if there's an emergency at a residence, we want to make sure that the people in the residence can get out, or EMTs can get in easily and get out.
Many members of the Rotary Club were once recipients themselves, or had family members who were in desperate need of a ramp.
And they came out about 2 years ago and put a ramp in, and now my wife cannot go up or down steps, so the ramp is really invaluable to us.
When building the ramps, Brown states that the club must abide by the regulations and limitations stated in the American Disability Act.
For every inch off the ground, where you're going to do the ramp from, the ramp has to be that many feet long. You don't want it too steep.
While volunteers build ramps every week, Kimsey says it can be a challenge to fulfill everyone's needs.
We get probably 2, sometimes 3 requests for ramps a week. With us only doing 1 a week, there's just no way we can keep up.
With all the work that the Rotary Club does for their peers, it's no wonder that the community shows their support.
We take donations. The donations help us. If somebody wants to pay for the materials, that helps us do the next one and the next one and the next one.
For Grady Newsource, I'm Sarah Train.
Thank you all for joining us tonight. For Grady Newsource, I'm Justin Nemitz.
When I was in foster care, I never knew when I would have to move.
so I always had my suitcase ready to go. Then one day, I was adopted. My new parents opened their hearts and home to me. My parents cook my favorite breakfast for me every morning. My parents take me on trips I never thought I would go on. They gave me a home and an even better reason to use that suitcase. My parents aren't perfect, but they're perfect for me.
I think I finally found.
Hey, how you doing?
Hey, Mason.
Hey, Mason.
Got a new house. It's looking pretty cool so far.
A place that I call home.
I'm teaching Louise how to cook some lasagna.
It only takes a spark to make a fire start.
Thank you.
Study, please.
I think I finally found a place to make my own. A place that I call home. This place that I call home.
Your home before sunrise. On top of the house, the kids, and our future. The smell of your cooking is our alarm clock. My Shiro's day is never done. So let's start saving a little more now so we can feel prepared for retirement. A free 3-minute online chat can give us the personalized tips we need so we can live our lives to the fullest. Visit aceyourretirement.org.
Now, so I hate that I can't hear myself, but today was a pretty good show. We were early, we had 20 minutes where we were kind of just sitting and waiting. So I applaud you guys for that, for getting stuff in on time. That was really great. Our first live shot, I don't know, the video feed was not coming back to us, but we attempted. So nice try. We'll get it next time. I don't know what was happening, but for future reference for live shots, make sure you have the Unity app downloaded so we can log you in. You can hear when your cue is and everything. One other thing for OTSs and stuff, I like how they're labeled, but maybe include OTS as well so we can make sure we don't miss anything. Same for stingers. I think I completely just butchered your stinger, Harper. I apologize for that. I was just flustered, but we're getting a lot better. So great job, guys.
Bringing more and more complications every time. Last time we decided we're going to do the whole show live, nothing recorded like we used to record sports and weather. I'd like to acknowledge we had two distinguished faculty observers who came to see how we do live air, because they will be doing, you guys will be, basically David is going to take over and is going to be doing what we are doing here, and he is new to our faculty, and this is going to be the first time he's doing that. So he came to observe, and I asked him and Vicky if you also have just a few thoughts to share with us. Anything, I don't want to spring it on you guys, but think about it. If you want to share a few thoughts, we have our mics. As I said, this was extra ambitious again. We decided, our intrepid first-time producer, Mary Lou, you guys are incredible. This is your first time producing, and she she's a quick learner. Quickly, she got what producing was, show flow and everything. So she decided that she was not only going to do our 2 double lives, weather and sports, with our amazing co-anchors here, Harper and Riley, but she decided she was going to do 2 live shots outside the building for the first time. We'd never done two live shots outside the building. And so we almost did 2 live shots, but our first live shot we had to kill because Maddie, did you understand this was your first live shot, so you didn't have hadn't downloaded the Unity app on your phone? Yeah, I think it was two things. They said the video wasn't taking. Yeah, so, and then, 'cause I think Tom, would you like to explain, because we can learn from this mishap, because Maddie prepared so, I mean, she did a great job.
So we would have gone to Maddie with or without Unity, but something was up with the video. We were getting it in master control, but not in there. We had audio, but no video. And Jim and I tested it 3:30ish. So when you came, about the time you came up and asked if everything was going well.
Yeah, and you said, no,
Don't
never
ever
ask me that. I jinxed it. It's my fault, and I apologize to Maddie and to Tom and to everyone. I jinxed it, asking if it's okay. But, you know, Maddie worked really hard, was really impressive, because she totally enterprised a quick turn. She got this assignment. She had a wonderful package. She had already filmed, and she was ready to go, and then we sprung that on her. She volunteered. She said that she would try to do her own reporting on the terroristic threat, which we felt this morning during our morning meeting that was an important story, that we had a unique opportunity and sources to develop that story. And so she was really nervous, and she pulled it off, and she got some interesting information, including the student point of view. And we were still able to, we had a plan B with our intrepid anchor, Justin. You know, he asked me, so how should I prepare? I said, prepare like every live shot will go wrong. So we sort of brainstormed, what would you do if Maddie's live shot went down? And so we talked about him being able to toss to her donut and just kind of tweak the lead to the live lead to just saying that she reports instead of saying we're going live to, and he did that, you know, and so we were able to save the top of our show. We still had our most important story, thanks to you, Maddie, so these things happen, and I would love for Justin to sort of, he had a lot of curveballs, and he managed them really well, to talk to us and share something you learned today from this. Wynn had a few things that he wanted to share. You still got that phoner at the end, and so whoever wants to share a little bit of things that they learned today would be wonderful. I just thought that it was a very ambitious show, and it went very well. I know Riley, the prompter, kind of confused you, but you picked up, and you know, you just kept moving. What did you learn? Tell us.
Yeah, so Mr. Tom, I have so much love for, because he will tell you that if something will go wrong, if something can go wrong, it will go wrong with me. And today, since it all went right
without
in the
me
pre-show,
jinxing.
No, it's just
wow. I don't even have to try.
But everything in the pre-show went well, so that should have told me that, of course, the teleprompter would not ever show up where I needed it to be. So, yeah, at the beginning of both packages, it wasn't there, and that's, you know, that's just my luck. And not gonna say I had a easy going and it wasn't the best, but I should have been more prepared, and I should have remembered at least my first line. I'm a little mad because I felt like they were good ones, but you know, it is what it is.
And have those notes. I'll get you guys more of these little note. What are they called? The little note cards. Yeah, so that you have the notes, and when you have the notes, you can always sort of glance and remember the main point that you want to make with each story, even though it's sports and it's complicated. But I highly recommend never being there on live air without having a little cheat sheet with you. It'll give you comfort, but you recovered, you know, and but I wouldn't go live without having some notes in a small cheat sheet. That's always good to have, and Maddie had it, you know. I go around and I distribute those little. No, but you did great. You did great, and Harper, you did great, and I would like a special kudos to Michael. Did he make double duty? He did a package on electric cars, which was awesome, with a stand-up, and then he came back live to do the election. So he did, because we had one sick out, what was it, like past 11 a.m., one of our reporters was not feeling good and woke up really, wasn't feeling good, so we couldn't count on his package, so we had a big hole of package to fill, and Michael said, don't worry about it, I will do it. And so he did the only live shot from outside that survived today was his, you know. And so special kudos for doing that. And you know what? When you ad-lib, you are much more natural on camera, very genuine, very personable. The live shot was just like amazing, the way you loosened up, and I could tell you knew your stuff, you were enjoying yourself. So that's why I encourage all of you to read as little as possible and try to use the sandbox to ad-lib. And you know, Maddie, you would have practiced that because you had only notes, you didn't have a script, so I highly encourage you to use that as an opportunity to learn. So I'm talking too much, and I want to give our esteemed faculty, please grab a mic. So David Lawson, Professor David Lawson, Professor Vicki Michaelis are joining us.
Michael, your graphic in that package where you had the speaker and timed up with the words was top notch. I mean, that's network stuff that I saw. Did you remember seeing that? That was really, I thought that was really, really good. I also loved where he was standing on the set, that part of the set, where you were doing your, where you were live in the studio. That part of the set looked really, really nice. The only thing question I have is when they come back from break and they're fading in, why not just make it a hard take instead of fading in? Because sometimes you're seeing words on top of your anchor, and I didn't understand that. Is that something that I'm worried about? That like when we come back from commercial break,
yeah,
fading in, and so sometimes you're seeing words or you're seeing some of the promo over the anchor before he starts to read.
I have to look at it, yeah.
And so that kind of bothered me a little bit.
So.
Did you notice that?
Okay, so I need to.
Something that they could fix to where you just take a hard cut and not fade in.
I'm taking a note of that. Hard cut in.
But other than that, I thought it was a really good show. Congratulations.
Thank you, David. Professor Michaelis, would you like to?
I'm going to echo Professor Lawson. I think See It, Say It overall in the packages was really good, especially for where y'all are in the semester. I thought that was very good. As you may know, I teach in the sports media program, so I'm going to talk specifically to your sports segment.
Yes.
And I've watched a couple from, I guess, last week or the week before as well. And I'm going to challenge you all in your sports segment to not just tell us what the scores were. How many of you watch television to get sports scores? How many of you watch a local news show to get sports scores? Raise your hands. A little bit, maybe? Okay, I'm surprised to see one hand, because everybody sees it on the ESPN crawl while you're standing at the sports bar, and everyone sees it on your Bleacher Report app, or, you know, like, we know the sports scores. I already knew what the Braves did yesterday. And so I'm going to challenge you in sports to go find sports stories. This campus is crawling with them, and a lot of them have nothing to do with football. I know football is very hard to access, so I'm not even telling you to go get UGA football stories, no. You know, there are many other sports played here on campus. There are many other sports played in this town. Go find those stories, because there are some really interesting sports stories out there. And those are going to be much easier for you to access if you're not a sports person, right? Because it's really hard to even just wrap up a baseball game if you don't really understand baseball, and that's okay. You know, if you asked me to wrap up a home cooking show, I'd be terrible at it, right? And so that's a lot to ask of yourself, to say, okay, I'm going to talk about how the Braves did against the Mets and what that does for the pennant race or whatever. That's hard. That's really hard. So go find some human interest stories that have to do with sports and make that your sports segment. Just just an encouragement from the sports media department.
I love this, and I mean, I can't agree more because I don't know much about sports, but boy, do I love the stories about the athletes, about their endurance, their ambition, how they do. Yeah, I cannot agree more. And now that we're doing everything live, you could have, you could come with the latest scores, must-have, must-see scores, and then that could be your live pop a little bit later in the show, and we could do your package somewhere else in the show. So as a sports person, you get 2 opportunities to be live in the show, because a lot of you want more opportunities as live anchors, and you only get 1 opportunity to be a TV anchor, a maximum of 2 if you're lucky, because there are so many of you, so I don't have an opportunity to give all of you a chance to be anchors more than once. So that's another opportunity for you to practice live. And you will make me very happy, because I'm one of these people who does not understand sports as much as I would love to. I just don't have the background. But I would love those stories, and those stories would do very well on social media as well, on our website. I think that I thank you so much. And your reels would be enriched as well with a variety of stories. Yeah. Any other? So I got that thing about, I will talk to Tom about the, I wrote it down, not fading in. Okay. I got that, and yeah. Guys, do you have any questions for Professor Michaelis, Professor Lawson, be it about sports or anything else? Professor Michaelis has an extraordinary experience in broadcasting, and so if you have any questions for her.
We've asked questions of people all day.
That's it for me. Thank you
Yeah,
all.
great job, really. I mean,
Yeah.
where you all are in this part of the semester is super impressive. So I hope you're all proud of yourselves, because it's really great where you're at.
We want to hear it on live air, so could you say that for the record?
Just to repeat, it's very impressive where you are at this point in the semester.
We're fishing for compliments
and
twice.
I'm
Yes.
here to attest that Michael Doty is awesome at ad-libbing. You should hear some sports calls from this man. All right. Great job, everyone. Enjoy, and thanks for letting us invade your show for a day.
Come anytime, anytime. Such great advice and praise. Thank you. Thank you, thank you. So, Mary Lou, would you like to chime in and tell us what you learned in your first day, maybe only day as producing?
So, wasn't as bad as I thought it was going to be. I was really anxious.
Oh, come on, why do you start with that?
I was just really anxious to be the TV producer because I'm technologically challenged. But I would just say just be as prepared as you can possibly be, especially just in the know about what's going on with readers and everything. But I thought everything pulled together really well today and was pretty calm. And yeah, but huge thanks to Madison and Michael.
Early, yeah.
Y'all were amazing. I mean,
yes.
you had a whole
We're very
other
lucky to have
story
both of you today.
Technological challenges. It's,
yeah.
You were
but
going to
that's
do
how
great
you
anyways,
learn, guys. That's how you will never forget that now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. But and Michael too. Obviously, you did a package and a live, so thank you so much. And Justin too. You had a lot thrown at you, and you're really seamless in your transition. So thank you. But yeah, I think it went well, and I don't know what else to say. Thanks. Sorry,
Okay.
Sarah, we couldn't do your Q&A. I was sad.
Yeah,
I really
we
wanted
were
to.
so
but
heavy. Yeah.
we were just too heavy.
it happens. That's another lesson to learn not to take it personally, because it happens. It's happened to me. It'll happen to you many times, and just that's part of timing a show, and it just happens. But the important thing is to prepare, and you learn when you prepare. So wanted to remind you guys again what a solutions journalism story is. If you look at my cheat sheet, there are 3 types of contacts you need. One of them is the provider of the service, the beneficiary of the service, and an independent expert, somebody who can evaluate the claims that the provider is making, because that makes it real journalism, where we sort of double check and have a person who's knowledgeable and an authority really evaluating and talking about the impact and any insights. Also, limitations are also a part of that story, a must-have in that story to meet those standards. So come and talk to me if you have any questions, but just wanted to remind you guys that these are very important sources you need to have, and the 4 principles have to be met. I really want to give people who've learned today something, a chance to, in our remaining moments, and because we don't get to hear from, so you will, unless you have something you absolutely have to. Yes, darling.
I would just say one thing. It's like a technical thing. It just bothers me a little bit. But when you do like sports and weather, if you size the back screen, like your graphics, to 1280 by 720, it'll fill up the entire screen. You won't have those like 2 black bars on either side. And also make sure you're saving and exporting your package to the right size so that it fills up the entire screen. That's the only note I had technically.
Good point. Very good point. Thank you for making it. Do you have a must-make point before I hand it over?
No, I thought everyone gave me content, so.
And thank you for, what did you say, jargonizing the sport, because you know baseball, so you helped out with that. Abby, do you have a must? All right. So I really want to hand it over to you guys, learning experience. Would the 2 of you want to just share what you learned today? Because I think both of you, especially Maddie, you learned a lot today, and you did very well, even though don't worry that, you couldn't make the live shot. There's only so much you could have done and learned for your first live shot. So now you know what you need, and
I guess I would say, like, during the Zoom meeting, I was already hearing like who would talk to me and who wouldn't, but I still like tried every avenue. I thought, like, I went to Athens Clark County Police Department, GBI, and UGA PD, and was kind of just directed in the same place for all of them. But I was able to get the police report, which wasn't posted anywhere else, even though I wasn't able to get an interview. And then I just staked outside of Brumby a little bit to talk to 2 students.
And one of them wasn't a very good.
Yeah, one of them wasn't great, but the other one gave me a good interview. So I guess I could have used more clips from that.
So you had to make so many decisions. You had so many doors that were closed in your avenues that were closed in your face. That's a lot to go through in one morning, and you enterprised the story. You really did original, valuable reporting that I didn't see anywhere on other media. And you added a lot of value to our show, our top story. So.
Sorry, I know I probably made it awkward this morning, and I was really embarrassed. But I think at the end of the day, even if the live shot would have worked out, I was still prepared for it, and I felt good about it. I guess my only tip for a live shot, and I didn't even realize this till the other day I was doing Spanish homework, but even when you think you have something down, it helps me to set my phone up and to look in a camera and even just press the record button, because then it's something switches mentally, and then you'll know if you really have it down or not. and I just like practiced a ton. Even at the live
So you
shot,
recorded
yeah.
yourself, then watched yourself. That
Well, even there, I was like, y'all, I'm sorry, I'm just gonna sound like a psycho for a minute repeating this to myself, but that's what, just do whatever makes you feel comfortable.
excellent advice. Excellent advice. Yeah, yeah. When you also wanted to share the ID thing.
Oh, yes, yes. Yeah, guys, this is just a quick, like, heads up. I mean, you already know this, and I should have known this from the beginning. But the reason that we get name tags that show our identification are to wear them around your neck when you show up to actual events. And I did not do that for Porch Fest. I was actually, I spent all afternoon yesterday just going from house to house. And I'm lucky to get a source from a performer. But my other source, I wanted to find the other side of the story, which is obviously the people who came to listen to these bands. No one would talk to me because I would just casually walk around in, something looking just like this, the same outfit, but without a name tag. And I would just be like, "Hi, I'm Win with Grady Newsource." And they'd either have no idea what that meant, or they would just be like, "No." And so I do think that a tag would go a long way. So whenever you're in the public eye, don't look shady like me asking to record people if you don't have a name tag, because
Yeah,
I
because
think
that
helps.
shows credentials, gives you some authority and proof that you are a reporter, and that makes a big difference.
That's all.
That's all? Okay.
Sorry, I was just gonna say, also too, don't be afraid to ask anything, because I felt like mine was falling apart, and I was thinking of some B-roll that I wasn't able to go get, and I asked Ben if he had any from Athens Clark County Jail, so he like kind of saved my package for that.
Yeah,
B-roll,
yeah.
'cause it,
Keep an archive and go to the person who has the beat, and they can always help you out. But an archive is good to have from your beat, because you don't want to wallpaper your package, but sometimes you do need referring to something that happened last month, and you have the B-roll, so it adds a lot to your package. I liked in most, or maybe a third, you had the nat sound of the music, but in certain points you didn't have music and people were like jamming and clapping, and it's like total silence. But I know you made an effort. I know Maddie was helping you, so just do more of what you did today. And nat sound is really important, especially to have it throughout the package. But yeah.
Get that to where it's actually, that was my biggest struggle, was trying to blend in my audio over like being able to
Yeah,
play the music.
yeah.
So worked in the beginning.
But where you did it, it was very good. Very interesting shots of the people and the porches, and yeah. And that lead was awesome. So we've got 3 more minutes. Who wants to? Justin, Michael.
Flow of the show just kind of really helped me, get a grasp on like, when to be serious, when to not be serious. And I just say like, if I'm trying to word this, I guess go into it as if you're the viewer. So like if, there's a story about like Michael's package, it was like, if it's about the elections, it's like you're teasing the elections, but like just kind of imagine that you haven't heard the story yet. You're kind of the viewer, and so like you're kind of reacting to that story as you keep going. And that's kind of what helped me with the transitions that were kind of off the top of my head. But yeah, just knowing how the flow is going to go down just really helps you out a lot. So if things mess up, you do know what you're talking about.
Thank you for making that point, because I really want people to understand how important it is to know your stories, to understand the show flow. It'll help you with your tone, with getting the right tone, with really being genuinely interested. If you're genuinely interested in this content, people will love you. People will believe you. And the only way to be to look genuinely interested is to be, to know your stuff. So thank you for making that point. You made my day with that point. Anyway, so, okay, 1 more minute. Michael, do you want to chime in?
You could see me. Yeah, obviously it was a busy day for me, but it's all...
Putting it mildly, yes.
It's all in the name of good fun. I mean, I think for someone who's trying to do something like that, the key is like just never panic. Just always have a good like mental attitude about these things.
It always somehow works out,
Yeah,
even
I've
when
been-
it doesn't work out.
I've been telling people that there's like some sort of pixie dust that always makes this work. And also sometimes you'd rather be lucky than good, because while I was doing my package for the police cars, he didn't know that there were other people around. Like I wanted to talk to the drivers of one of the cars, and he's like, they're probably busy. So while I'm shooting the B-roll of the cars, one of the drivers just happens to come out. He's like, oh, you want to talk to the driver? And I said, yeah. So sometimes you got to have luck on your side, but all in all, it's doable. Like people are going to expect you to do this every day, so it's good to get in a habit of it.
Yeah, that's a major accomplishment. You can mention it, by the way, when you're interviewing for a job, if it sort of comes up in the conversation or something. If they ask you what is the biggest challenge you faced or something, maybe that's not going to be the biggest one.
Probably won't be.
Probably not, but it's one of your little stories that make a mental note and then you can tell your grandchildren and children or whatever. Sure. Okay, guys, I know you're tired. Let's try new things on Wednesday, because I have no shame. Here we go again. Let's challenging you, saying you're tired, and let's do better. Thank you, darling. And